Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has been out for nearly a year now, and in that time, it's received multiple DLC waves. DLC has been new characters, classes like Ino and Nipponic Champion, or Masha and Lapidarist, challenge battles that test your skills in party building against difficult foes, and of course we can't forget the epic prequel from Wave 4, Future Redeemed. However, there's one other part of the DLC that I feel isn't mentioned as often as it should be, that being the challenge gauntlets. For being a wholly new and original mode, I don't see a lot of other people talking about it, so that's what I'm going to do. This video will cover the setup that I have made solely optimized for challenge mode, what emblems and heroes you need, and how you want to approach the various waves you face. Let's get to it. This video contains spoilers for endgame characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. One important change to remember in challenge gauntlets is that you only get to control one character. This means it's very important that you go in with as optimized a build as possible. For my setup, I'm using Noah as a healer because I want to make use of healer form Lucky 7. If you remember from my Lucky 7 setup guide, you'll know that I said this form was the worst of the three. Well, here in challenge gauntlets, it's actually the complete opposite. The healer form is perfect because it can provide a very high source of damage, lots of healing, and an easy to build smash combo to work with some special emblems that I'll show later. You also want to be in control of a healer because reviving is very important in the later challenge gauntlets, especially when your Nop Watch runs out. And healer Lucky 7 synergizes very well with this. The attacker form deals too much damage, you'll be dying way too often, getting too much aggro, and the tank form is made completely useless past wave 100 or in hard mode, since invincibility is nullified. Tanking damage also just isn't a better solution than just countering the damage by healing more, since you'll just end up taking too much at later stages. As for the class you use under Lucky 7, any healer should do. I'm using Strategos for its higher default damage, and it has some debuff synergy, as well as an actual healing art for when the Lucky 7 runs out. I've also optimized my gems and accessories for challenge gauntlets. For my accessories, I start with just the basic Solace rings, Eternity rings, just the basic stat boosts that you want for a character, but then I have the devotional necklace, because it recharges all of my arts when I revive an ally. When the Nop Watch runs out, you stop recharging arts, and so obviously your party's gonna start dying, because you don't have any way of healing them. But if you revive them as Noah, with this accessory on, you'll actually gain all of your arts back, which then lets you heal, so that you can hopefully make a comeback. It also will give you some damage arts, so you can hopefully build the chain attack, and then once you have the chain attack, the Nop Watch usually isn't an issue. To boost this strategy even more, I actually have two gems that I would usually never recommend. I have Life-Saving Expertise and Soothing Breath. Both of these gems only do things for reviving, and so I normally wouldn't recommend them because normally you just don't want to be reviving characters in the first place. But in the challenge gauntlets, it's inevitable, and with this setup, it actually really helps, because your characters will have more HP, and the reviving will be much faster, so you'll be able to use arts more often. I also just have Life Bearer because, the basic stat boost for a healer. Now would also be a good time to go over the heroes you want to look out for. Before I even cover the heroes, I need to mention one very important thing the game doesn't tell you about heroes in challenge gauntlets. The heroes you choose use whatever accessories and arts are equipped on them, yet the tutorials only mention the arts part. This means your heroes will be significantly weaker if you don't put special gear on each of the ones you plan on using. What I would suggest doing is making a separate saved party just for all the heroes you plan on using in the gauntlet. You also want to make sure you set your heroes' main arts to the ones you actually want in chain attacks, because they can use all their arts in battle, but only these main ones are accessible in chain attacks. Lastly, before the heroes I actually recommend, you want to make sure to pay attention to two more details: role and alignment. These both play into your choice of heroes in order to optimize synergy. since Noah's the character I would recommend using, and you should use a healing class. Healer and Kavesi synergy are the easiest to work with for this build. These are the heroes that have gotten me the furthest in challenge gauntlets. First, Riku and Manana are much better here than in the base game because they have both Kavesi and Agni synergy, as well as a breakheart and debuffs that become good with different emblems that they synergize with. Next up, Melia, the Queen of Chems. She excels in high damage output, especially chain attacks, and her chain attack bonuses make it very easy to get over 200%. And remember this, for later, maxing out chain attacks is vital to winning the later rounds. She also has a toppler to work off of Riku and Manana's breakheart, as well as Kavesi and attacker synergy. Riku and Manana and Melia are the only attackers we have in our party, so let's move to our main tank, Ashura. The reason that I'm saying you only need one tank in the challenge gauntlets is because most of the tanks suck, and you can just get much better characters that'll overall do more for you than tanks will. And in challenge mode, with the healers, you can use that healing to really make any character a tank. Especially since there's also emblems that let you get tons of health, like tens of thousands. You can go over 20,000, 30,000 on each character. One tank is still going to be useful though, and Ashura comes with many other useful properties on top of that. She has a launch art to go after our previously mentioned break and topple arts, as well as contributing to Kavesi synergy. She also makes herself useful in chain attacks if you need power charge for all and a boost to damage ratio, or if you need to get over 200% but don't have the right heroes. Finally, we have our other two healers, Fiona and Masha. Both provide buffs and healing, as well as work together in chain attacks to boost TP evolve massively. I'll get to that later. Fiona also gives you a 4th round in chain attacks, which is completely necessary. You need that in the later rounds especially, because you really need to maximize chain attacks. Even if you decide to not use the TP building setup I show with Masha and Fiona later in the video, you should still at least use Fiona for her chain attack boost. Both Fiona and Masha also provide healer synergy, though no alignment synergy, but they'll still be helpful since the main character we're controlling is a healer. Now, you might notice there's one more slot left. That's because I really couldn't find a different character to help the whole build here. Shulk and Valdi are the two heroes I'm thinking of using here, since they're both Kavesi and both have some useful properties in gauntlets. You could go with an Agnian healer if you want a bit of Agnian synergy, or maybe an attacker if you want even more damage at the cost of less total party stability. I couldn't find a single hero that was the definitive best option. All others are either not useful at all, or have equal mixtures of pros and cons. Just go with whichever hero has the best benefits in your opinion. Fits with your playstyle the best. With all the party building done, it's time to review the emblems we want to focus on to aid us in battle. Emblems. There are a ton of them. It can be a little overwhelming at first deciding what you want to choose when you don't know what's good or not, but that's why this video is here, right? The most important emblems are without a doubt the pink stat boost emblems. If you max out these, your party will be so powerful, you can get way stronger than is even possible in the base game. Tons of health, tons of damage, agility, dexterity. It just boosts all of your stats a ton. The green emblems are also useful, making for great synergy with break arts and debuffs like the setup Riku and Manana have. Combo to attack is especially useful, since you'll be using Smash very often playing as Noah. There's also a version that boosts chain gain called Combo to Chain, and you want that one as well. As you slowly build your party up later in the gauntlet, you want to take more role and alignment synergies, like focus healers, defenders, attackers, and Kavesi or Agnian Prosperity and Zeal. There are also a few other yellow emblems, random ones, that come in handy, like Slow Knobwatch, Discount Card, Ticket Line, and Money Bags or Last Ditch Effort for some conditional damage boosts. The emblems I would avoid are the blue and red ones, which focus on weird buffs at the expense of HP, and auto attacks respectively. The red ones aren't terrible, you just shouldn't prioritize them over other emblems since they aren't that valuable. The blue ones are actually garbage though. Having as much health as possible is crucial to getting far in challenge gauntlets, and the blue emblems will just completely destroy your chances, because all of them take down your health. Their buffs are really not worth it in my experience, and just focus on keeping health instead of getting those buffs. Anyways, now we're off to battle, where I'll show you how you want to approach different fights and bosses. Starting battle, you want to cancel into Unlimited Sword, and then try to build up Final Lucky 7 as much as possible. Final Lucky 7 is really how you're going to manage the battle. Ideally, you want to eliminate all the enemies in just one devastating attack, like this. Say you die, or Lucky 7 runs out though, then your best bet is to try and use as many healing arts as possible, especially fields. The faster you build up Lucky 7 again, the more Lucky 7 time you have in battle, and thus the more time is spent with high damage and healing available to the party. And now, chain attacks. It's very important that you get over 200% TP each round, since that means you get more characters back and your damage ratio also goes up more. The best way to do this is to start by using Masha and Fiona, as they both boost everyone else's TP, in that order to maximize how much you get. After this, Melia lets you get over 100% to then use someone like Shulk, Riku, and Manana to get over 200%. You then repeat this process of building TP with Fiona and Masha, and then Melia and someone else, multiple times, since you'll slowly run out of characters. Melia is ultimately the most useful in chain attacks because her bonuses and strong attacks really carry the battle. Anyways, that's all for this video. With this setup, you should be able to make it super far into challenge gauntlets and hopefully beat them. This video is fully scripted and took a lot longer to make, so if it was helpful or enjoyable, please leave a like or even subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, really. With that said, see you all in the next video.